Today on Art Scene we'll feature Meow Wolf Convergence Station, Denver Arts Week to explore Denver's vibrant arts and cultural scene, a recent exhibit at the Denver Art Museum including a community celebration with lowriders, Desert Rider, Denver Fashion Week, and part of the Cultural Runway series designed with ability and disability in mind, Fashionability. Hey, welcome to a brand new edition of Art Scene. I'm Bobby Lefebvre. We're here at Meow Wolf Convergence Station, one of Denver's most unique arts venues. Let's check it out. So we are here with Hans Vollrath, General Manager. And thanks so much for having us here.
Oh, my pleasure.
So Hans, tell us a little bit about the idea and concept behind Meow Wolf Convergence Station.
You know, that's probably the biggest question to try to answer, because when you come in here, there is so much to see and do, it can almost be overwhelming. But really the story behind Convergence Station was in 1994, a cosmic event occurred that brought 4 different worlds together. And as they collided, it opened these portals that allows Earther travelers to be able to come into the Convergence Station and then travel between these 4 worlds.
How does Meow Wolf go about creating these incredible worlds?
We have an incredibly talented team of story writers and designers and creators that come together and begin to ideate on what would be a great story to build in each of the communities in which we have Meow Wolf exhibitions. They take those story ideas and then start to build them out into a framework that can then be turned into an enormous art exhibit that has a transformative storyline that weaves through it. And as we get to the point of it's time to start creating the art that matches the story, we then engage with local artists in the community and start to have them work on the entire storyline with us to develop it out and then create the world that you see here.
And what would you like people to get out of this experience when they visit?
I would sort of define it as transformative. You know, you kind of come as an Earther traveler with some curiosity, and I think you leave transformed with a new appreciation of artwork, of storytelling, and how it can be told in a way that's very kind of disruptive to the rest of the arts industry and community, and in a totally different way. So as you can see, the area that we're in, which is called C Street, it's nothing like you've ever seen before. So you'll come as sort of curious and you'll leave transformed.
We are here in Sun Valley, which is one of our neighborhoods here in Denver, which is also central to the theme and story of Meow Wolf Convergence Station. Tell us a little bit about that without giving too much away.
Yeah. So the bus right here with Sun Valley on the front is representative of Pam Rodriguez's bus, and she was a bus driver in 1994 who drove through Sun Valley at the exact same time that that cosmic event happened. And so she was transported here with her bus, and that's what has been displayed here. And the Sun Valley community in which we are located is also a really good partner of ours, and we're close with them in the community and have a lot of interaction with them really every month. And we just did a cleanup in the Sun Valley with the Community Coalition. And so that Sun Valley area that we're working in and living in here as Meow Wolf is also very integrated in the story.
In addition to this just being a really, really cool place to visit, there's also some foundational things about the organization that are also interesting. For instance, you are a certified B Corp. What is a B Corp and what does that mean?
Yeah, a B Corp probably new to a lot of folks because it's been growing over the last few years, and Meow Wolf was actually the very first B Corp in the arts and entertainment industry within the US, so we're very proud of that. And being a B Corp, it's a designation that is given to companies that meet certain standards around financial stability and sustainability and engagement with the community and all those things, and there's measurable things that you have to achieve in order to receive that B Corp designation, and Meow Wolf has received that at all of our locations.
That's great. Hey, thank you so much for having us. This was a really, really cool conversation.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
We'll have more from Meow Wolf later in the show. But first, a very popular annual event, Denver Fashion Week.
When we think about fashion, Typically people start to think about New York, Milan, Paris, London, right? So what does Denver have to offer? And I think that in order for those 4 cities, those big cities, to have new, fresh talent, they look to smaller markets and smaller demographics. So what we can offer is a platform for emerging talent that maybe just doesn't have that capability of being noticed in those larger cities, and we can give those emerging, stars that time. I'm Haley Hoda, and I am the runway producer and director for Denver Fashion Week. Tonight actually is all about local couture. So we're going to focus tonight on original pieces. So each individual piece, there's nothing else like it, right? That's what couture means, that there's one of a kind. So each segment is going to be very individual, all the way from, somewhat wedding dresses, all the way down to, corsets and things like that. So couture can really mean anything.
My name is Cora Aversano, and I'm the designer of Aversano Designs. I grew up in Lakewood. My parents still live in the same home that I grew up in, actually. So I started designing a year and a half ago. I have a love of 60s movies, a little old school glam, I would say. So my first 2 gowns, the whole point of it was bold and beautiful, pretty much. The glamorous elegance of the 60s, like Hollywood 60s. So then I brought that into this new collection. The funniest thing that I do when I make dresses is I watch Golden Girls the whole time. Don't ask me why, that's just my go-to. But I feel like once I'm in it, it's just you just keep going. So I feel like I can make them pretty quickly. It was probably about 2 months ago that I said I would do it. So it's been a whirlwind of making 10 gowns, but it's come along pretty well, I would say. So yeah.
I think it's important to highlight local talent because, local designers, they're artists, right? And if we hear this about artists all the time, starving artists, but it's only that because they don't know the resources, they don't know where to start. So creating a platform where they can actually come together with a community of like-minded individuals, they can get the resources that maybe they didn't know were accessible to them. So what we do is create a stage for that emerging talent to know where to go next and how to elevate each time that they do.
I feel like the platform's huge because there's not a lot of fashion going on in Denver in this kind of realm. A lot of people are trying to start runway shows, but really Denver Fashion Week is the first one that actually did one and has done it pretty well and has gotten a lot of people to it. So I feel like for designers, it's kind of like your moment for a Denver fashion in general. To actually show what you have. A lot of people get to see your designs, I feel like, ever since a lot of the pictures are on the pamphlets and on their Instagram and things like that. A lot of people have reached out to me about my designs. So that's been a great way for me to be able to talk to people about that and kind of show more of my designs that people usually wouldn't see. But everyone's been so nice and really welcoming, which has been really awesome. And all the models are so great and really excited. I'm really happy to see it all come together.
So inclusivity is actually the center of Denver Fashion Week. So what we offer to models is a fully inclusive platform that we have, models from all creeds, all colors, all heights, all sizes. We do not cast based on anything other than confidence and conviction. So really, if you think it's pretty possible. So if you want to come out and model, we just tell anyone and everyone that you can have that chance and that opportunity. So our nonprofit this year is Dress for Success Denver, and they're actually very on par with supporting women get professional attire and support for going on job interviews or honestly just going out in the workforce. It's kind of sometimes, again, right, we don't know what resources we have or what to do with those resources. So to be able to have someone to go to, it's such a huge thing, especially, when you go to a job interview and you have a brand new jacket or a brand new shirt, it does something mentally to you. It's not just fashion, right? So I think that Dress for Success Denver is an amazing partnership for a nonprofit this season. If you've never been to a Denver Fashion Week runway experience, expect to be excited because honestly, every single night is centered around a different theme because it's for everyone, right? We have all the way kids shows, streetwear, couture, so really it could be something brand new to you that maybe you're just I just want to try this night. But I definitely think originality, excitement, creativity, and community. I think that especially after the past few years, community is such a huge thing that we've all been lacking, and I want to speak for everyone when I say I'm very excited to bring these creatives together again and be able to have us back on the runway doing what we love.
This year, Fashion Week is November 11th through the 19th. Check it out. Next up, Desert Rider was a recent exhibit from the Denver Art Museum, which included an incredible lowrider show and shine.
This exhibition explores how artists from the Southwest customize, transform vehicles, be it lowriders, skateboards, or horses, as a way of celebrating who they are and where they're from. All of the artists in this exhibition identify as Latinx or Indigenous, and we are bringing together an interesting perspective on this region that has such a complicated past. And these are voices that have grown up and really rooted in this area. And we see how cars and horses and skateboards, which are not materials that we necessarily think of as art, how they can be objects that bring together ideas of identity and pride and culture and tradition in a single object.
The work refers to the greed and the insatiable quest for power that drives American capitalism. And it's a piece that I became interested in as a soft sculpture representation. For me, it's important to represent the disenfranchisement of the labor force that makes these objects. And usually they are immigrants, indigenous communities that are escaping violence, escaping poverty. So I'm interested in representing their labor, honoring their labor, and making works that represent their efforts, right? For decades, I've been making work that deals with a shared culture, ethnicity, an identity of community power. And I've been working with art as a tool for social transformation towards social justice. So it's very, very exciting for me to be included in this show, and I'm so grateful for honoring our Chicano culture in such a beautiful way.
One of the largest sections here in this exhibition is dedicated to women in cars, right? We often think of cars as a male pastime, and yet here are women who have turned to the car as a way of body positivity and female empowerment.
When I decided to start building this car, that's where I really kind of learned how to put together a hydraulic system. And then when I went to Detroit, that's where I kind of did the tear down rebuild of the car. There are lots of themes in my work, but one of the big themes has to do with, I guess, is about existing as a woman in the world and the many ways you can walk through the world, and kind of celebrating all those different kind of aspects of being a woman, and also like acknowledging the different struggles that we go through. I was living in Detroit, and I was pretty excited because I had just finished the build, and I was like in a new kind of phase of my life, you know, about to have a baby, and so I just thought it would be nice to do kind of a piece that was a celebration of that. And so I got the bikini on and got a smoke machine and got the car out into a parking lot and made it go up and down, and yeah, thinking about making babies. I think that piece is a really just like celebratory thing for me, that I had been working really hard on the car, and I had to wait till I finished the car really to have a kid, because it was a pretty immersive process. And so, yeah, it was just a really celebratory moment.
So this community event is called a Show and Shine, where different owners that have customized lowrider vehicles, members of different car clubs here in Denver. We've got Ramplitas and Citywide, Compas and Out of Control, all bring their cars to show and shine in the sun for everyone to appreciate. I mean, these cars are rolling works of art.
It's a wonderful show. I love it. So many beautiful rides here. You know, a lot of the different rides here are all from different car clubs. So, you know, everybody coming out here to represent their colors and their unique hydraulics.
It's honestly insane how many cars are here. There's so many beautiful colors, so much unique design into all of them. It's so intricate, it's so thoughtful. Like, you can tell that there's so much like hard work that's gone into these cars. It's honestly like, it's unbelievable.
I think the show had a good turnout today. I mean, there's a lot of lowriders out here. This is my club here, Out of Control. So we got a few lowriders out here. We got the kids' bikes, you know, some RC cars, some of our kids' RC cars. And yeah, I think it's a good turnout, and they should keep doing it every year.
Denver Arts Week is an annual event shining a light on our vibrant arts and cultural community. This year, it's November 3rd through the 11th.
Denver Arts Week is a 9-day celebration of all the arts and culture that we have in the city, and we have such a vibrant, amazing cultural scene in the city, and we're really trying to amplify that message and really work around the city's goals for its cultural and arts communities. Denver Arts Week is fully packed with so many different events. It really starts out the first day of Denver Film Festival, which is just really cool that we can start in the same day that they do. And then it ends on the first day of Denver Fashion Week. So it sort of has those bookends. The first Friday of Arts Week, it basically starts with the First Fridays art walks, and so that's really an interesting time because people can walk around and there's so many things happening at the same time. Then on the first Saturday, we have free nights at the museum. Generally, we have around 15 museums participating, free admission. We offer free shuttles for people to get around from museum to museum, so it makes it super easy around the time that we have cold weather. So really just making it accessible for everybody to participate. I think it's a great time for people to come to Denver Arts Week and enjoy the different galleries. You have little places to big museums. It's really a celebration of all the talent and local artists that we have in the city, but it's a great way to explore and learn more about the city and learn more about what the city has to offer. So, I mean, I think people are used to going to the bigger locations, which is great, and we want to continue that progress, but we want people to really explore all of the things that are going on. And it's a great way also for people to learn more about places that they've never seen before through the deals and discounts that these organizations have. And then if you go into our website, denverartsweek.com, you'll see all of the events we have during the 9 days, and then we have deals and discounts that we work with our cultural organizations to provide as well. So it'll be fully packed with pretty much everything for kids or for adults. Denver is such an amazing city. It really has so much to offer in terms of arts and culture, and it's really unique. And the participation of the citizens of the city and everyone from the metro area and beyond, this is really unique, and it's an amazing time for people to come and explore. The arts and culture community really suffered during the pandemic, but then returned in full force last year, and we're seeing the same thing this year. It's going to be an amazing event.
Earlier this year, Fashion Ability highlighted clothing design with ability and disability in mind. It was part of the Cultural Runway series from Denver Arts and Venues.
welcome all of you tonight. Thank you so much for showing up for this amazing community. We have so many stories to tell, so many amazing people that have been part of this process. Please, everyone, welcome Lexi Bader's Fashionable. Switch gears here a little bit, and we're going to show you a collection of Rachel Levine's silk shibori pieces. They are so beautiful and so soft. Without further ado, let's see Array. We also have a really interesting collection coming up that is a collaboration between military disabled, No Limbits, and Melanie Walker. So give a hand for Melanie Walker, our featured artist on this collection.
Now, let's get back to Meow Wolf. Okay, so we're here with Brandon Vargas, who's the artist liaison for Convergence Station. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
How does immersive art support the vibrancy of the arts and cultural community?
Well, immersive arts has a really interesting role to play, I think, in the overall art community and how people experience art. To me, the most fascinating thing about immersive arts is that it's one of the most accessible doorways for people to experience art in the first place. You have so many people who come to Meow Wolf wouldn't necessarily go to your average museum or wouldn't necessarily go to your average gallery, but they will come here to experience immersive arts. And if that is their first entry point into the art world, that is a fantastic endeavor to have. And so ideally, it will grow the amount of people interested in the local arts community, people interested in buying stuff from local artists.
We talk about this place being an immersive experience, but for someone who doesn't necessarily know what immersive art is, how would you describe that?
So an immersive arts experience is going into an art space that isn't confined to the boundaries of a painting, that isn't confined to just a circle around a sculpture. It is around you, constantly engages your senses. It's really hard to separate yourself from the art that you're experiencing.
So another thing that is really prominent here at Meow Wolf Convergence Station is the idea of social impact. What does that mean for local artists and our arts community?
It's very important to us that this really does become a very impactful place where artists can grow their portfolio, can grow their network, a place where we can sort of work with them to make installations that are outside of their standard work. So in a spirit of radical collaboration, we try and grow our artist opportunities by linking them up with other groups who may not have those connections.
You know, Brandon, you mentioned all of these collaborations and touch points in community. One thing that's coming up is Denver Arts Week. Are you all participating in that at all?
If you come during Denver Arts Week and go up to the front desk in our lobby, you can whisper a secret SIPS with a Z password to get a free Q-Pass.
SIPS with a Z.
Yes, and a Q-Pass here is very important because it allows you to interact with our narrative, it allows you to explore the underlying puzzle of this whole facility, and it really does engage you a lot more than just walking through, which is awesome.
Do you happen to know how many local artists were included in the development of Convergence Station?
Well, for collaborating artist groups, we have over 87, and each of them have a wide variety of artists that have been collaborators along with them. So our numbers are well over 100 of local collaborating artists.
What is it about this community here at Meow Wolf Convergence Station that gets you up excited to come to work every day?
One of the most important things is, once again, being an artist. One of the best aspects of this job is getting other artists paid. I feel like all of us want to be in a position in which we can help money get to all of our contemporaries with much more ease. But a second thing, and something that I touch on almost daily when I'm here, is the faces of people who come and interact with our exhibits for the first time. The look of wonder and seeing how a person will navigate in our environments, perhaps for even the first time, is astounding. It's inspiring. It brings you back into the reason as to why accessibility in art is so important for so many people.
Well, hey, Brendan, thank you so much for chatting with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate being here with you.
Let's take a look at what's happening in Denver this week. We hope you'll get out and enjoy some of the great events from Denver Arts Week. Thanks to Meow Wolf for having us, and to all of our great partners across the arts community. We'll see you for another all-new edition next time as we discover more of Denver's art scene.